live video a while ago about how to infuse salt, but unfortunately there was something wrong, so I couldn't post it anywhere else. So here we go again, and at the same time I'm going to try and answer some of the questions that I got after that video. So infusing crystal solids are really easily, and by crystal solids I mean things like salt, regular table salt, Epsom salt, sugar, xylitol. All those kind of things can be easily infused by the use of evaporation. Here I have some Epsom salt, here's sugar, and here is Himalayan sea salt. So today I'm going to show you how to infuse those three and what you can use them for afterwards. It's such an easy technique to use. So let's get started. First, some math. I want to make sure I know how many milligrams of THC there is per gram in what I do. So each of these has 300 milligrams of either salt or sugar. Each of them has 3 milligrams of crystal solids in them. The tincture that I'm using has 50 milligrams per milliliter, and I'm gonna use 60 milliliters in each. That gives me 3,000, so 3 grams of THC in each, which will give me 10 milligrams per gram. So that's just the math. Make sure you do the math first so you know how strong what you're making actually is. So for the first one, I'm just going to do regular table salt, which is this one. And all I do is I tincture. This one is a high CBD tincture. And a quarter cup has 60 milliliters, which is why I'm using that one. And I just pour it over. And mix it. And it looks kind of like one of those slushies you can get on gas stations, or maybe shaved rice. So you just mix it well, and that's it. Now, this is the basic infusion, and to any of these crystals you could just add a plain alcohol-based tincture. You have to use an alcohol-based tincture, otherwise it doesn't work. Doesn't matter how high proof it is, it just has to be an alcohol tincture or it won't work. So you can use the plain tincture. I could have used this one to all of them, but today I want to have some fun and show you what else you can do. So for my Epsom salt, I want to make a bath salt that are good for pain and inflammation. So I'm going to infuse it with a CBD tincture that I've also have infused with chamomile, skullcap, passion flower, and California poppy. Once it's done infusing, I'm going to add some essential oil to it. They'll also be very relaxing, and since I'm using Epsom salt, the magnesium itself will also go in and give it a relaxing and pain relieving feature. So, but we do it the same way as we did the other one. So I just take quarter cup or 60 milliliter and just spread it out. And all of my tinctures are edible, by the way, so though I wouldn't recommend people eating Epsom salt because that can get pretty nasty. Then you just mix it around. Like this. Kind of like slushy. Super easy. So just gonna make sure you get all of the salt off here, because otherwise I can't use it to mix the last portion. So the last we have sugar, and today I want to make a sugar that has some herbs in it that helps my stomach problems. I use it when I make my tummy tea too. It's a tincture that I made with fennel seed and peppermint and fenugreek and ginger. And the peppermint itself is really good for cramps, stomach cramping, and the ginger is good for the nausea. The fennel seeds are really good for preventing gas buildup, and the fenugreek helps with motility, so that's why I use it. And it's very mild. So do the same thing. Just add the tincture to here. And mix it with the sugar. Now that they are all mixed, they go in the oven at 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and you cannot use a gas oven, because if you use a gas oven you risk everything going boom, because we're putting alcohol in, and alcohol and fire, it's flammable, so don't do that. But if you have an electric oven, use that. If you don't have an electric oven, just leave it out on the kitchen countertop for a few days and it'll dry out on its own. So again, it's really, really simple. So here we have sugar that's been mixed. Here we have Epsom salt. And here we have sea salt. Now, I don't think you guys want to wait an hour until all of this is done. So I made some in advance, not the sugar, but the principle are the same. Once they're in an oven, stir it every 10 to 15 minutes so that you make sure that clumps don't form. If it gets clumpy, you have to break up those clumps afterwards. So it's easier to do it while you do infusion. So just check on it every 10-15 minutes and then stir it. And once you can see that it's completely dry, it's done. So here on the side, I have some that I made in advance so I can show it to you. This is how Himalayan sea salt looks once it has been infused. And this is just infused with the tincture that I showed you. To take the Himalayan sea salt, you can use it just the way it is. Just put it in a salt shaker and shake it over your food, and you have a quick medicated meal. You can add it to your water when you boil pasta. Use it for cooking. Anyway, you use salt in a regular day. You can also take it a step further, which is what I'm going to do now, by adding some herbs and some terpenes to it. The last portion I made, I just added herb de Provence. Looks like this. See, nice medicated with herb de Provence. This one here, I also added a CBD isolate and some keef because I wanted THCA too, because I wanted it to be really anti-inflammatory so it can calm down my intestinal system, which is something that is important to me. And that also helps with pain, and it'll help me eat. So, but this time we're gonna add some CBD again. So first, here, I have my grinder from my Vitamix, and I add some of the salt to it. Like this, my infused salt. Then I add a gram of CBD isolate, which is what I have left in this. Just gonna get all of it out. And then to get THCA, the non-psychoactive component of the cannabis plant, I just crumble a little bit of this keef. It's been pressed, which is why it looks so solid. And just add some to it, kind of break it up as much as I can, but it'll go into the grinder and everything will be incorporated. Then I am adding some dill. And then to kind of make sure that I get the whole entourage effect from it, instead of adding a flavoring oil, I'm actually going to add terpenes to this one. This is citronella, and it is just one specific chemical part. When you talk about essential oils is a whole plant extract. Terpenes is where you draw out the individual scented chemical components of an essential oil, so you can custom-make things, and it means that you can make specific flavor profiles, different profiles for how it smells and for the effect you want to have. And dill works good with lemon, so I'm just going to add just 2 drops of terpenes. Actually, I think I want to do 3. Don't put too much in it. It's really strong, so it'll last you a long way. I can smell it now. It smells a lot like it now. So then I just put it up on my blender and I process it. These two strip all the way. Put my lid on. On the Vitamix, I usually just use pulse settings so that I have full control over how much I process. Sometimes it needs to be shaken a few times. And that's it. That's all you have to do to make a infused salt. It smells beautiful of lemon, and the dill is in there too, and this will go great with fish and eggs and stuff like that, and it'll help with my pain and help me eat. So that's a win-win in my opinion. So next we have the Epsom salt. Once you get your Epsom salt out of it dry, I recommend that you add stuff to it to kind of boost it. Plus, at least I like adding some essential oils and stuff to my bath when I take a bath, because that together with all of the other herbs that we've infused into the Epsom salt will give you that aromatherapy experience, which are also calming and pain relieving. So this is salt that I have infused with my pain formula retort. As I said, you can also just use the regular or alcohol tincture just with THC. And to this, I have also added some flower petals. I like having rose petals in my bath water, and I get these food grade organic rose petals, that are really amazing, and I just put them in and I mix them in with it. And for this, I use essential oils. And for this one, I have used I've used rose oil, so just a regular bottle of essential oil. And for the 300 grams that are in this video, that I use in this video, I use about 10 drops of essential oils. But I'm not a person who can tolerate a lot of fragrances. It makes me nauseated, so I just like it very lightly. So you can adjust it to your own preferences really easy by adding a few drops more of essential oil. But as you can see, it is super easy to do this, and not a lot of work either. So I hope that you found this video educational, and if you do, please subscribe to my channel, Mom's Herbs and Remedies, and I have a super good offer for you. I made a Patreon page. It's on patreon.com/momsherbs, and for $1 you can get the recipes that accompaniments these videos written down, so you can print them and keep them for easy reference. So you don't have to sit down and write down while I do the video. So all the instructions and stuff will be there. That's just $1. I think that's really good. And by doing that, you're also supporting me, so I can get better video equipment, and so I can get a laptop, so I can actually start doing some editing myself. So I hope you like this. If you do, give me a thumbs up, share, recommend it, please. We're all about educating people here. And have a good day, and stay strong, stay medicated.